Hey guys, welcome back to Mike's Mighty Muscles. On this channel I focus on effective fitness tips with efficiency, and on this video I'm going to cover the topic of orthotics, and I'm also going to give you a few things to look out for when you are buying some new shoes. Now, I'll quickly tell you about the story as to what made me do this video first. So about a year ago I was doing a bit of running and stuff, and my knees started to get quite sore, and turns out it was from my ankles and more specifically my feet and the arch of my feet. So basically I was collapsing like that, which yeah, you don't want, and I'll explain that a bit later. But long story short, my knees were sore, went to the podiatrist, got some custom insoles, and I was told that I would have to wear these insoles for the rest of my life unless I did about 2-3 hours of exercise specifically for the feet every single day for the rest of my life. And I just remember thinking, that is fucking bullshit. What a load of shit. Now, I'm not having to go at this podiatrist, but if someone lies to me, I find out. Now, he might not have known, or he might have thought that he was giving the best advice that he could have at that time, which I'm sure he did. It's just that I disagreed with it, which leads me to this video now. This is an example of a bad shoe, and this is the example of a good shoe. Now, as you can see, there's quite a bit of padding down the bottom of this shoe and not as much in this shoe. So the bad one, basically the more padding you have, the less feedback that the sensors in your feet are going to receive, which is going to result in the intrinsic muscles in your feet, which is the smaller muscles. They're going to stop firing, they're going to deactivate, your arch is going to collapse, and then that's when you're going to have to go down the road of looking at orthotics to reduce the pain. But if you do go with orthotics, what I recommend is using it just as a temporary relief for pain while strengthening your feet at the same time. Now, when you put your foot, if you take your insole out, you might notice that on the big toe there's a bit more of an imprint versus the rest of the toes, and that would mean that you're putting more pressure obviously on the big toe, which means that the arch is going to collapse, and if we put more pressure on the outside, then the arch is going to come back up again. So it's pretty simple. If you do notice that you're putting more pressure on your big toe, just try putting a little bit more pressure in there, but don't, I wouldn't say pressure actually, don't push it down, just place awareness into it and your focus into it. So another thing with shoes, specifically for me, because I've got wider feet, so I've got to find shoes that are a bit wider. Now for me, these ones are really good. These ones aren't as good, and it's quite rigid everywhere. So this one's got much more flexibility in the rotation versus that. Yeah, so it presses your toes here. So basically what happens when your foot's in a shoe, if it's not wide enough for your foot, when you land, your feet spread apart. Now if you don't have enough room in your shoe for your feet to spread apart enough, I'll say, then what's going to happen is the shoe's going to push your feet in like that. Now pushing your feet in like that means that you're going to put more pressure on your big toe as well, which is going to deactivate your arch, loosen, relax your arch, whatever you want to call it, and that's not what we want. That's what we're trying to avoid. Now, yes, so the arch of your foot actually recoils itself naturally. So when you land, the arch of your foot goes a bit flatter, but then as you push off again, the intrinsic muscles contract and it brings your arch back up again. Now, in this shoe, which the podiatrist actually recommended getting a shoe more like this because it doesn't twist as much versus this one that does twist more. It's actually worse having the one that doesn't twist as much. Now, the point of not twisting so much, I don't actually know. But naturally, our feet twist. So as we step off, say we're running, as we step off, then it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but just believe me when I say your foot fucking turns. And you don't particularly want this because then it stops you turning and then there's going to be more pressure in your ankle and your knees and then your hips, so don't fucking do that. Now, so that's basically, I think I told you guys about this Naboso technology. If I didn't, I'll quickly show you anyway. So I've got these insoles from naboso.com. It's Naboso, Naboso, and really, really good for your feet. So basically they've got like these little dots, different textures and stuff, and it activates the somato or mechanoreceptors or some nerves in your feet, and that's what helps strengthens the intrinsic muscles in your feet, which will help bring up that the arch naturally for you anyhow. So the fix for this, if you don't know what your foot tripod is, 1, 2, and 3. So you want to be putting attention into your foot tripod. Just do it as much as you can throughout the day if you do have a problem with your feet and ankles, and then over time it'll just become more natural for you, and as you strengthen your feet more, then you won't need to worry about it as much either. Another thing you can do is a heel raise with a ball. Now I've done a video on this, but basically put like a ball in between your heels and then just do calf raises like that while trying to push your heels into the ball, and also we're trying to curve it down. So we're pushing in and curving down while doing our calf raises, and that's going to help bring this. So basically if you have an arch in your foot, it's going to be like that. So no arch, and as you land you're collapsing in. So basically by putting the ball here, we're pushing that back this way, which is going to straighten up your foot. Next is short foot. So I've done a video on short foot as well. Basically that's just pressing the tips of your toes down into the ground while engaging your core, engaging your pelvis, pelvic floor, and yeah, I've got videos on that, so go watch those. They're much more detailed because there's a bit more to the exercise than what I just mentioned. Now another thing you can do is stretch your feet. So I'll quickly show you how to stretch in here. I'll do a more detailed video in the future, but you want to relax your foot. So if I'm not relaxed, then it's going to be hard to stretch my feet. So put your foot somewhere where you can just relax and then use your hands to take the weight off the front of your feet. So basically what you want to do, start stretching that way. Don't fucking, won't end that well. Stretch that way, stretch that way. And you don't need to hold it for too long, just a couple of seconds. It's mainly just getting the skin on the outside moving again, which will give you a bit more flexibility. So now we'll go this way, that way, this way, that way. I'll just do this foot and you guys can do the other foot. Once you've done that, you want to twist up, twist the other way, twist up, twist the other way, twist up, twist the other way, up, other way, up, other way. So that's the really quick version of stretching your feet. Now another thing you can do is towel crunches. So basically you have a towel or like, I don't know, even clothing or whatever, and you just try pick it up with your feet. Maybe put it somewhere, pick it up again, put it back, use your other foot, That's just going to strengthen your feet as well. Another thing you can do is walk upstairs only on your forefeet. So basically just walking upstairs like this. Pretty simple way to put it. Another thing you can do is balancing. So I've done a video on that as well. Any type of balancing will just help strengthen all the feet muscles, the ankle muscles, all the areas, everything. If you strengthen the base, then that's going to strengthen the rest of the body because it all starts from the base. So that's why I'm putting a bit more emphasis in this video as well. Now another thing you can do is barefoot walking, so that's just reducing the cushioning and shit from shoes that you don't actually need. Walking on sand is another good one, but if you do have issues with pain, either in your ankles, in your knees, hips, wherever the fuck you have pain, if walking on sand or walking bare feet hurts, then maybe don't do that just yet, or maybe just start with doing 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and slowly work up. But pain isn't what we're going for here. And lastly, an exercise you can do is lifting your big toe up while keeping these 4 down, and then put your big toe down. Well, it's a bit difficult on this, but there you go. And then just back to that. And do that for both feet. Obviously you can do it at the same time, you can do it standing up, but it's probably better just focusing on 1 foot at a time so you don't get ahead of yourself. Well, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you when I see you.